Man, I'm telling you, it happened every once in a blue moon. Where a lot of your messages that you used to preach 4 or 5 years ago come back to me. It always happens. You know what I'm saying? I promise you, I wasn't looking for it, but it always come back. The universe always reminds me. And I'm grateful for that. Cause the universe, cause it could have been like, well, she's gonna be left behind. Let's leave her. But it always bring back this bell, like ding. Remember? Okay, get your affairs together. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm looking at these young people, and I'm like, at least they get in it. But I'm like, damn. I remember Monet was preaching about this 4 or 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, Monet was talking about the split and how America was going to split, in two, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, in the beginning, I can't say for you if you knew about the 5D, 4D realm, but for me, around that time, I didn't know nothing about 4D, 5D, 3D. I didn't know anything about that, so it's like, I just find it very, but as above, so below. So it makes sense, what's happening above is happening right here. So we're going to feel the effects of it.
So shout out to the goddess that sent that to me. She is one of my long time soul family members that's been walking with me for a very long time. I think since I was in Christianity. We were in Christianity together, walked out together, went into Hebrew together. So she can attest to a lot of the things that I have been warning of. And one of the things that I told her was, I know it seemed like it was redundant, like I was saying this stuff over and over and over. But what I was trying to do was kind of rise my voice above, excuse me, all the other voices who were out there, because I'm not saying that I was the only one that had truth. That's not what it was at all. There were people who had bits and pieces of the truth, but what I was trying to show people was the warnings, like the dire warnings. All of that other stuff, you have to put it in a certain category. All of that other stuff is fine. Yeah, it's important to a certain degree. Because in my mind it's like this. It's like making a cake, right? You got a formula to make a cake. And if you skip some of the ingredients in making the cake, whatever flavor, whatever type of frosting you have does not matter. So it's a lot of information that really, to me, is like icing. It's icing on the cake. It's good information. Yeah, it makes the information better, but it's not the foundation. It's not, like you can live without that. You can't do nothing without the cake. If the cake is a mess, then the rest of it, the frosting, the covering, that does not matter. So it's a lot of people out here who was teaching fluff and frosting, but they weren't giving you the necessary formula and the ingredients and for your foundation, which has to be solid before you do anything else. Your foundation. That is what I have been teaching. I've been teaching foundational ascension mechanics. Only a certain few individuals, and it's not for me to decide who those individuals are. You become chosen by the choices you make. That goes along with a post that I just put out yesterday. You become chosen. There's no chosen people. You become chosen based on the choices you make day to day. So what I wanted to say about this, what she sent me, and again, peace to the goddess. I didn't put your name on here. I'm going to stop putting people's names out there because I didn't realize that some people don't like to be in the spotlight. They don't like, to be out there like that. So with respect to her, I'm just sharing what she said and the video that she sent me. She can chime in down at the bottom if she wants to, so everybody knows who she is. But I appreciate you sending it and acknowledging that, this was something I was trying to teach people, because it seemed far-fetched back then. It seemed really out there. Like, what? Only a few people believed it. But I'm going to read to you one of my documents that I got from a ground crew. He's a part of the Ground Intergalactic Association of Free Worlds agent. He's a on-ground agent. I think he's left the planet now. He may be back. But one of the things that he said recently was this, and sent me a picture. I'll put it in here. The separation is now taking place. Particle Earth, URTH, has already left the Gaia time matrix, and the two planets are now parting. You will either be on one or the other. Antiparticle Tara residents will still be demanding equal rights within Atlantis a billion years after we have long since come out of subjugation and established our own reality with our own two hands through the sweat of our brows. Because we knew that asking for benefits was only really asking for more bread and circus. Okay, pause. Now, what I had explained to my sis who sent me this, I gave her a breakdown of why I was posting the way I was and why it was necessary to stop with the protesting. And I'm in particular speaking to a certain group of individuals who want reparations. Number one, that was a trap and a trick because, as this agent just informed you, is when you demanding equal rights. When you demanding equal rights and you demanding for a certain type of treatment based off of a false narrative, really what you've been tricked into doing is setting yourself up for to go onto the antiparticle trajectory or timeline. I'm going to explain to you what that means. So many times I was telling people, you don't want freedom. That when I read your post, you want your land back, you want reparations, you want to be compensated for work that your people have done and that you didn't get credit for. However, the history books that you were specifically given was written that way so that you could have a certain reaction and emotion to it. Now I'm here to tell you, you don't have to believe me because I know y'all, the whole community of individuals have bought a lie that was put there on purpose. I was sent to give the Hebrews and the Christians a message because they received a similar trick and trap to route them right back around. Christians, they routing around because they coming back for the rapture. They think that they're going somewhere in the rapture when really they're going right back around in a circle to 3D. Hebrew Israelites think they going to Zion. They going right back around in a circle back to 3D because each one of these individuals feels like something is owed to them because they are chosen ones or they better than somebody else, and it's based on ego. Okay? To ascend up out of the matrix, out the planet, you have to let go of all of the ego connections and you have to want for yourself what you want for other people. You have to want for other people what you want for yourself. So if there's anything in your heart and your mind that tells you that you should be given certain treatment because of your color, because you feel that you have been ostracized, marginalized, if you feel that you should get something else other than the one standing next to you who may look completely different from you, if you feel that way, you will route right back around on antiparticle Tara. Now let's read it again. Antiparticle Tara residents will still be demanding equal rights within Atlantis. You hear that? Within Atlantis, a billion years after we have long since come out of subjugation and established our own reality with our own two hands through the sweat of our brow. Now, break it down. If you hear me talk about Florida and the City of Lights, you hear me say this is the new Atlantis, not the old. This is the new Atlantis because people don't realize when Atlantis split apart, Atlantis split just like America split. One part went one place and one part went another place. The old Atlantis is where these individuals are going to be, the ones who are still demanding equal rights. Now, there's a reason why I had to stop teaching like nationality and declaring your nationality. I know that there's a whole group of individuals who teach that. I don't. And that's no disrespect to anybody who does, but it's because I was given a full understanding that when you declare nationality, when there's no nations here, you are essentially saying that you want to be treated differently than somebody else because you're connected to a particular nation or land. Again, sending a message to the ethers and to the divine that you still wish to be governed to a certain extent, right? Now, the individuals, and there's people who may argue that, but I can honestly tell you, what you think it is, it ain't. What you think it is, it ain't. The same, and that's the very reason why. Remember, I had a class. I don't know, some of y'all may have remembered that we was establishing a class, and I have a sister who actually went and met with the Grand Sheik up in Baltimore. Met with the Grand Sheik. She and I were supposed to go, and at the last minute I couldn't go. So she ended up going up there, me with the Grand Sheik, because there was a ceremony that was going on. Went up there and saw with her own eyes that what she thought it was really wasn't. We later on discovered why she wasn't able to push forward with that, because we was getting ready to do it, all of it, and we was going to teach our people this truth. Come to find out, United Nations was involved in all of that, and the higher ones, the ones whose names y'all probably know, are also involved in helping the United Nations. And when you fill out those papers, there is one form that's different that does not have the proper route number on the bottom. If you do not have that form, which you can't get your hands on it. If you do not have that one form with that number matching there, your stuff hits the United Nations and spins right back around once again, bringing you right back into agreement and alignment with the very system you seek to detach yourself from. So there's a trick to it. Your true sovereignty is in how you act, your behaviors, your actions. That's your sovereignty. You walk in under universal law and principles. There's nothing here on the planet that you can do paperwork wise, legal wise, because everything is under bayal. Everything, even the paperwork that you think is going to free you, nothing frees you but your mindset. Nothing frees you but your behavior. Nothing frees you but coming into alignment with universal laws and principles. It's an act of freedom and sovereignty that you have to exemplify. And in order to exemplify that, you start actively and consciously creating the reality that you want, and not by getting up and declaring what you don't want, because that's the very thing that will give you that whatever it is that you declaring out your mouth. Even if you saying I don't want this and I don't want that, the ethers is ordering that up for you. So what you have to do is change the way you speak and start speaking out your mouth to the ethers what it is you do want, and you do that and you apply an action. If you say I want good food, not I don't want this freaking food and this GMO. You say, I want good, healthy, nutritious food for my family, and then you turn around and do an action. Go plant something, right? This is how we consciously create our new earth and our new reality, by the sweat of our own brow. And what you do in an action, the ethers, the alternative space, the quantum field, we begin to match that and start giving you that and start helping you, and it'll start connecting you to the other people who feel the same way as you, and they'll come and start helping you build the reality that you desire. That's how you do it, not through paperwork. Okay, so I said all that because this agent had said this about in a billion years they'll still be asking for equal rights, because that system, when you send out that you just want equal rights, but it ain't really equal rights, because you want to be treated better than other individuals. And I know no matter who you're talking to, you'll get a different perspective of that, but at the end of the day, that's the message that's being sent to the divine. Okay, and when you set yourself up in that way, what you're saying is you just want comfortable slave quarters. You want good food. You want to be treated good. You want reparations because you feel like somebody owe you something, even though, remember, you were given a false narrative. So what you think, and two, I'm gonna go even as far as this to let you know the psyop that has been pulled over on different groups of individuals for a specific reason. Do you know that the same way they have CIA agents who will come out and say a certain thing, and then later on you find out that they were like a Manchurian candidate or they were somebody who was MK Ultra? There are recordings, video recordings as well as audio recordings of old slaves saying, yeah, they beat us and they treat us like this and they treat us like that, and we was, you know, do you know that a lot of that is a psyop? A lot of that is false to create a certain history so that you can feel a certain way today. So this is why I tell people, and only one or two people get it. Go by what you see with your own eyes in your right now reality. There is no past and there is no future for you to look at. Pay attention to what's going on in your right now physical reality and go by that only, because the past has been fabricated, and Mandela effect is proof that the past can be tweaked, manipulated, and changed. You remember it a certain way, but when you go back and look for evidence, it's different. They do the same thing with the slave stories. They do the same thing, all of that stuff. The same reason why when they came back, remember how many years we believed that Roots was a true story? Then you suddenly found out that it was a lie. It was just made up. A lot of the information that people have from the past has been fabricated on purpose to keep people in this frequency of feeling like a victim. It's the victim victimizer, and they route you back around because whether you realize it or not, when you start requesting and demanding something from the ethers, what you resist persists. So pushing against something gets you more of it. Does that make sense? All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this and then wrap it up. I wanted to say that because that was very important. And again, I was very appreciative that my sister would share this with me, because I have been saying this. It seems redundant. The stuff that I teach seems like it's redundant, but it's redundant for a reason. It's redundant because I was only given a few messages, and those few messages was important. All the other stuff people teaching is the icing on the cake. It's good, but it's not necessary. This is the foundational stuff that you need, the minimum amount of stuff that you need to know in order to get your mind right so that you can be on the higher trajectory and not this antiparticle planet that's routing back around. And all those individuals going to go back to 3D and just have more of what they're asking for, because they literally chose it. They were given opportunities and they literally chose it. One of the reasons why I keep saying, create your reality. Write down your plan. Write down what you want to see in your future. But as long as you're looking at the negative and you saying, you fighting against it, you're resisting it, I hate this, I hate that, you telling the ethers what you want. You telling the divine that you want to be controlled and that you still want to remain a slave, because a real co-creator, a real god or a goddess creates their reality consciously. That's why I say watch your words, watch what you say. Watch what you say. That's another reason why I had to stop a whole lot of idle chatter, because I know me. When I'm not thinking about what I'm saying and I'm not staying mindful, my mouth will run and literally undo all the work that I've been doing trying to create my reality. I'll start talking about stuff I done seen or come down my timeline, and I won't reverse it. I forget to reverse a lot of that stuff. Sometimes we just having conversations, but you don't realize that your mouth is literally creating. You are creating. So I've taken it upon myself to stop all that idle chatter and focus and be cognizant of the words that come out my mouth, because I'm manifesting. I'm literally creating right now what I want my 5D reality to be every day. So be mindful of the people that you chit chat with, because chit chat is not innocent. Chit chat is creating. Be mindful of, if you gossiping, stop the gossiping. Stop talking about all the stuff that you see. And like I said, it's a constant work. I have to check myself sometimes. I don't be on point all the time, but I realize that if you stop a lot of idle chatter and you just get quiet and make it a point to stop talking so much, you'll become very aware of the things that you say, because it's filtered in your mind first. You'll become very aware. And sometimes our mouth just be on autopilot, and this is what we be doing. We be creating backwards. We be manifesting backwards, because we want one thing, but then we speaking something completely contrary. This is why we can't move forward. So be mindful of the stuff you say. Stay off the phone. Stop running your mouth with the neighbors and all of that stuff, just talking about, surface stuff and shallow stuff, and start being cognizant of the words. All right, so let's play this, brother, and then that's going to be that. We're going to end it right here.
Now, I've talked about the first split once before, and the first split was with the continents, because all this used to be one. The so-called United States and all the rest of the continents, it was all one. Now, Earth, as I said, when she's picking up speed, she's moving at light speeds. There's going to be two versions of Earth. She's going to be moving so fast that it's going to split. It's going to boom. It's going to become two. And the people that's on a higher frequency or higher vibration are going to move up. And the ones are going to have to reincarnate here and start all this process all over again. Like, it's really no joke. But when people put it in these type of terms, ain't no telling how people take it. But like I said, I keep seeing the same patterns. I'm hearing the same stories. I'm just taking it all in, piece by piece. I'm not expecting everybody to get this in one video, because I didn't get it in one video. But what I try to do is make the information available to others, because, like I said, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds out there. It sounds like a reach. But once I was able to see and put it all together, we can't play that reach game no more. Like, time on the planet is vital right now. Now, I've talked about the first split once before, and the first split was with the content.
All right, let's just see some of the stuff that I had posted about this. Now, I had said this even before 2017, and you know what I like about Facebook and they sleazy ass. You will see right here, how they make all my stuff friends. I keep everything on public so that anybody who's searching can find it, but they so damn slimy until they make it so that only friends and probably friends of friends can see it. So most people not even getting this information, but the thing that I know for sure is that the people that's meant to see it, they will. The people that's meant to be saved and get themselves to shelter, which is done inwardly, they will see the stuff. So anyway, it says, I had never seen this map. Spirit told me back in 2012 that America would split straight down the middle and fall into the ocean. Wow. So to actually see this gives me chills. So back then, I think my soul sister had asked me, she was like, I don't know if you was talking about 3D to 5D. And honestly, no, I didn't. When they first told me, I was not told how all this was happening. Like, I'm kind of on a need to know basis, because I used to be oversharing and I was sharing information because I was so excited that I was like getting these downloads, and I didn't know that sometimes the information was only for me to know right then. I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to share everything, and I was just putting it out, and it was to a lot of people's detriment, because it started scaring people. Anytime I hear that, where people be like, oh, you're fear mongering, and that's why I say I'm not here to help everybody, because the masses, they hear this information and they hear fear mongering. They hear you, oh, you just trying to scare us and keep us from having a good time. That's how babies think. But for the people who I'm sent to talk to, when they hear this, they take heed to these warnings, to these messages, because they know that what I'm saying is the truth. I'm not here to scare you. This is a warning. I still can't understand dum-dums who think that a warning is just to scare them. If I keep using this example, if your house was on fire and everybody is yelling that, trying to tell you your house is on fire, what dummy opens the door and say, "Can you please stop scaring us?" What fool? So anyway, that's how you know that those individuals have to go someplace else. And I know people be like, "Oh, well, don't talk about them like that." You know why I talk about them like that? I talk about the arrogant ones, not the ones who are just, asleep completely in the midst and have no idea. I'm talking about the people who hear the warnings and then turn around and bash you for trying to help them. Those are the people I have a attitude with. I have an issue with them, because to me that's dumb. Even if I had never heard something before, if somebody was giving me a warning and saying, "Hey, this is about to happen," then to me it's worth at least checking out. You know what I'm saying? It's worth me researching and trying to find out. And then if I can't find any information, I keep on moving. But for somebody to just be like, "Shut up, you're scaring us," that lets you know those are bots. There's bots in the matrix that's meant to come and do that, because that will deter anybody else from looking at your information. So this was the map that I was shown. It was a Navy map, but I had already seen this happening. So what I want y'all to understand and see, because people thought that, oh, Florida gonna break off and fall into the ocean. No, it's not. If you see right here, this is where I am. I'm right here up under as a matter of fact, I'm right here up under this dot. And I was told that I was put in the cleft of the rock on purpose. I was put here, and since I've been here like more than 20 years. Hurricanes will come from way over in Africa, and they'll get right here and go, they'll get to my back door and go up the coast. I have never seen a hurricane or a tornado or any of that stuff come right for Jacksonville. I'm in the cleft of the rock. I'm protected right here. This right here is where I was from, where I'm born and raised, right here. Stargate 2 is right here in Sarasota. See, I was in St. Petersburg, so that's a peninsula. So St. Petersburg gonna wash away, but Sarasota is right down here. Sarasota, I think, is right over here somewhere. It's somewhere over here. It's by Tampa. Now, what I know for sure is all these people, if people get washed, if the land gets washed away, that don't mean the people getting washed away. There will be cities of light. And I just posted today that we got a message earlier this week that the Guardian hosts have actually put a hub center up here by Sarasota, by the Stargate. Because the Stargate at one time was being controlled by the negative entities, and it has since been secured by the positive ones. So because Stargate portal is an entrance place where they come in from out of this realm, they set up a hub spot, which is a protection. They put pillars up. It's an energetic protection. So this is this is essentially a city of light, and it's going to be more and more and more where energetically these areas will be protected from anything happening. So I find it interesting that this right here, after you look at this map, this area here will be still standing, because it's protected. They just set it up recently in the last couple of weeks. So I'm here. That's going to be another city of light, because I declared it, because I'm working towards it. I'm doing what I need to do right now to create this safe space. Okay, I didn't know it was called a hub, but hub, city of light, whatever, it's going to be protected. All right, so let's see. This was back when I was on some nationality. I told you I was on the nationality stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you, I sure was. It wasn't until I was given the information that no, that doesn't matter either. I was like, oh, so I've been out here talking all this, because I thought that's what you had to do, and it was like, that's not what you have to do. That's not what you have to do. You line up with universal law and principle that trumps anything else on your planet. All right. I was still in the Bible. Let's see if we got any more of these. more 2015, we see exactly where America was split into, and they removed that. There's probably some stuff in here, but anyway, y'all get the point. We ain't gonna draw it out, because I've been the people who know, they know that I've been talking about it for a long time. I've been talking about it, trying to give people the warning to get themselves right. I was saying 2015 to the black and white sisters. Black and white race was actually tricked and pitted against one another so that we all as a people could be conquered. See, when I'm trying to tell people back then, you hating on the wrong people. It's your captors that set out and send people out there to shoot innocent people. And haven't y'all seen the pattern yet? Go into a black part of the neighborhood and shoot up a church. So, because they pulling at your heartstrings, and then everybody rally and be like, oh, we hate all white people. It's the white people. And then they do the same thing on the other side. It's a constant thing. Y'all have to understand that. So anyway, that's all I wanted y'all to see, is that, the split has actually taken place. But as I had explained before, they merge and converge. So they're going in and out, in and out. That will take place until, see, the split is taking place, but they're going frequency and vibrational wise, they're going in and out. So sometimes you'll be on the same timeline with another person, and sometimes you won't, and you go in and out. The very end of the bifurcation, like when it splits and snaps apart, is going to be in November of 2023. Now, I don't want you to think in your mind, well, shit, that's good. I got time to play around. No, you don't. No, you don't. You do not have time to play around. I almost want to say that things are set as they are, because we are behind. So what you see happening, we are slightly behind that, right? You don't have time to play. Like, if you was going to make some changes, these changes should have been made a year or two ago. You should have at least started, because the intention. So I don't call all the shots, and I don't know everything. Don't be scared is one thing, because fear will put you someplace completely where you do not want to be. But with the right heart and the right intention, like I said, start doing service to others. Do a service to others. And I'm not talking about a service where you're going to get paid for it. Do a service that's genuinely done from your heart, because you want to see somebody else do better, and you will start putting yourself on the right trajectory. Okay, so with that being said, I love y'all. Peace, love, and blessings. Divine Naga.